What is the first thing you think of when you think of a nurse? Is it how hardworking they are? Is it a doctor's office or a hospital? Or is it their uniform, the scrubs that they wear? This is what I'm wearing right now, but this is not how the uniforms always were. When nursing first began, they worked alongside nuns, and their uniforms looked much like what a nun wears. They wore long sleeve dresses in somber colors such as gray, brown, or black, and they wore head coverings that looked like what nuns wear. In the early 20th century, it changed to all white, and the reason why they did this was that way everyone knew exactly what they were there for and what their job was. Throughout World War I and World War II, the hemlines and the sleeves of the dresses became shorter to a modest length so that they were able to maneuver easier and get in and out of the war zone quicker. And pockets were also added so that they could hold their tools without having to use their hands as much. Nursing caps, which are used in many pinning ceremonies today, were no longer required in the 70s. They realized that these carried many germs and were unsanitary. Modern scrubs, like what I'm wearing, came about in the 1980s and 1990s. They're easy to work in, they can be cleaned in harsh chemicals for sanitation reasons. They're cheaper, so they're able to be thrown away if you get blood or other body fluids on them. And they're also appropriate for both genders as more males are entering the profession. Nursing is a challenging and rewarding career, and I know this because of my extensive research in the career, and I've spoken with people who work within the career. And nursing is challenging and rewarding due to the daily routine, the benefits, the educational requirements, and the audiences that you get to address. The daily routine is varied, and there's no typical day in the life of a nurse. You can be there for 12 hours, 24 hours. You could be working with different doctors, different groups of nurses every single day. And then, depending on what department you're in, it can be more routine or it can be completely different every single day. Just like someone working in a doctor's office would be much different than someone working in the emergency room. So, it all depends on a number of different variables for how the daily routine will go. There are also different challenges every day. There are people coming in that you do not know what they're going through, what situation they have, what's happened to them, and you never know really what to expect. Some of the benefits: there is a good job security. There's always a need for a nurse, whether it be in a doctor's office or a hospital or a nursing home or home care. And there are many jobs that nurses have that you don't even really think about, such as teaching and outside of the hospital. And that being said, there's also flexibility in nursing. You can work when and where you want, you can specialize, you can work in more than just the hospital, and you can also travel. There's a number of different things that you can do within the nursing field, and it's not just limited to a doctor's office or a hospital. Some of the educational requirements: the basic requirement is ADN, which is Associate's Degree in Nursing, and that is the gateway into RN. You can also go on further and get a BSN or even master's, but BSN is Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. And just like with any career, the more education you have, the more opportunities you have, the higher up you go, the more benefits you have, the more money you get. Some of the audience that you will encounter and tips that we have learned that you would use with them include patients and families. And these include supportive listening and listening for information. So it's very important to, especially as a nurse, knowing that the doctor is going in there to diagnose. The nurse is really the person that people look at for, okay, this is who I need to express my feelings to and how I'm feeling right now going through all of this. So it's important to say, yes, I'm here for you, but it's also important to get the information that you need and filter out the important stuff and what's not so important. And it's also important to have empathy and to know that you're there for them and that you support them and understand, but not to make them feel like that you feel sorry for them and that they are less than you are. And it's important also with that to have an emotional barrier, to know when to say, okay, this is my job, I've got to keep going, and not to harbor those feelings and make it affect your day. You also encounter doctors and other nurses, and something important is listening for information, knowing what you need to get from the patients, know what the doctors need, what they need you to do, all of that, and know what is important right now and what can wait until later on. Another thing is constructive criticism. Most nurses are underneath the overlook of another nurse, a hired ranked nurse, or even a doctor. So it's important to take what they say into consideration and use it to make yourself better, whether it be for the patients or for your group as a whole, as a team, and know that you are not working alone. You're working for other people and with other people, and it's important to do your best for that team. In summary, nursing is a challenging and rewarding career due to the varied daily routine, the great benefits, the educational requirements, and the audiences you get to interact with. The Gallup poll asks annually which group of professionals is perceived as most ethical and honest. Since being added to the list in 1999, nurses have ranked number one every year except for 2001, when firefighters topped the list after the 9/11 tragedy. So next time you see a nurse working hard, don't just see her as a nurse. She is so much more than that. She is part of the backbone of the team of nurses. She's helping a number of different patients for a number of hours a day, and she is constantly on her feet, few breaks, and many people don't understand what a nurse truly is unless they've been in their shoes. So support them and encourage them and love them.